There we go. Am I alive? I'm still alive, but I think I found my final resting place. Wouldn't you know it? Dang it. Dang it. Just can't get away from them. Oh, me. What a long story I have to tell. Man. Oh, it started about 2 weeks before last Christmas. I got a knock on the door, and it was a person delivering some mail telling me that my wife wanted a divorce. Yes, I'm not perfect after all, apparently. So, anyway, that started a long journey. Part of our issues were I wanted to move out to the rural area, and my wife didn't. She's a city girl, and she didn't want to do the whole Green Acres thing. And well, that was really something that came up several years ago, and I kept talking about it, and it just wasn't going to happen. And then some other things happened. Long story short, anyway, life is life, and we're still living together after we've been divorced for about 6 months now. I'm not really one to go on YouTube and grovel, is that the word? Or talk about my problems or cry and cry to the peoples. I just don't think that's, I don't know, I don't like it. But in this case, I thought I would go ahead and break all the news at once and then talk about what I'm hoping to do, and hopefully I'm not going to have a situation where I'm homeless for a while. But if I think Mr. Camper here is going to solve that issue, and I'll get into that in a little bit. And one thing I thought I would do along the way is share some issues with buying property. And this piece of property is 4 acres. It's not huge, but it's mine. And I haven't closed on it yet. I'm going to. But you can see here, this is actually a soil map that I blew up on top of a survey. I blew this up to create a site plan. And so I took these meets and bounds. They're hard to read. Trust me, it took me a while to get these lines to close in CAD, because some of these angles are fuzzy. But this is a soil map, and you can see the soil scientist went out and labeled this. You can see over here he's got the types of soil, and I don't blame you if you can't read this. It's hard to read in real life. But there's these different soil types, this Lily and this Ramsey, and I forgot all the different types, but they have different absorption rates, perk rates, and then different depths that you would have to have your septic tank. And that was one of the biggest issues I found when trying to find a piece of property in the mountains. And I was going to show you something that's kind of funny. I was going to kind of wait till maybe somebody was watching, but I'm really kind of making this for a video. But if I go back here, I've got this view set up of Google Earth, and you can see this right here is the property. The UFO still parked over it. I even caught him on Google Earth. What's weird is this is really funky here. You can see kind of a ghosting of the ship when you see, like there's a one that's kind of hidden. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Now it looks like a shadow. Anyway, the property is right here, and it's just pretty much in the woods, in the mountains. I was trying to turn it, but it's a picture, so I can't I can't turn it. Oh, I can turn it this way, but I can't, not like it's a 3D. It's not Google Earth. It's just the image of Google Earth that I captured. You see up here, but yeah, you can't really tell. I mean, we're on top of the mountain, so when you see these ridge lines over here, that's just, you know, part of the mountain. If we were down in the valley, it would look larger. You know, the mountain would look taller. But I'm on top of it right now. There's part of the Cumberland Plateau, if you look it up, and that's what's so kind of cool about these mountainous areas in Tennessee. We have what's called the Cumberland Plateau, and you'll have large level areas on top of these, you know, almost like mesas, wooded areas, and they're kind of cool because, you know, you can find some level ground, not level, but, you know, rolling. You can see here, looks like somebody had a field over here at one time. But these properties on top of these mountains are notorious for obviously rock. And let's go back to our working view. So it took me, I went through about 20 parcels, 20 lots, ranging from 3 to 10 acres, because it was based on my budget. You know, land goes for about $10,000 an acre in these areas. But one of the things I kept running into was this issue where, sure, you can put a septic tank, but it would end up having to be a modified system, and those, you know, you're talking, you know, getting up into $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 versus a $6,000 just a standard septic tank. You can see I've got it kind of mapped out here. What you have to do is, I'll have to put stakes on Monday. Barrett and I are going to go out and we're going to make a video. We're going to stake out the house, and then the septic tank guy who I've met, the environmentalist for Sequatchie County, is going to come out and he will check this area again just to make sure that we've got the depth and the good soil type for the septic tank. And then once that happens, I have to get my septic tank in, and then I can get this camper and park it here. And I'm going to use this pole. I'm going to put myself up a light pole, and that's where my temporary power is going to stop. The temporary power is going to come in. It's about 200 feet from the street. And I'll stop the power here and put myself in a temporary that'll have a 40 or 50 amp, you know, service for this camper and the cabin to build it. And I'll live here while this will probably be a little bit closer to the septic tank. I really don't want to have to trench too far to put in a temporary line for the camper, but I'll work that out. It's kind of funny because you don't want to be too far away from this pole. You know, you got to kind of split the difference, and you want to leave some room to work. You don't want the camper right up against the, you know, building, because you're going to be hauling materials in here and concrete trucks and all that. So anyway, what I was working on, let's see if I've got any questions or comments yet. Nope. So what I was working on actually was Chuck, at the Valley Architects, Chuck Valley was nice enough to reinstate my license. It had gone bad for his instant architecture extension, which has all these really cool, all these sub-components or sub-extensions, and they're all awesome. But the one I use the most, honestly, is the cladding, because I used to literally draw cladding by hand, and it's hours and hours of, you know, drawing, and no matter how you do it. So Chuck has created these, he's an architect out in California, and he's developed this extension, and you basically just choose, in this case, I'm looking for the corrugated vertical. I want to try something different. Not different. I've done this before, but on this, I want a little bit different look. And I'll just show you kind of what I was inspired by. Let's see. Let's go here. I don't know. When I was a young guy, I guess in my 20s or maybe early 30s, I saw this special on TV about this guy. This, what's his name? Pronicky. But anyway, I didn't even know his name when I was watching. I was just happened to be flipping back then. Cable was there weren't that many channels. I think I probably had 18, and it's probably the History Channel or something like that or whatever. This guy who lived in Alaska for 30 years or something, long time. Okay, and I was always impressed by the efficiency of his cabin. And on these Alaskan cabins, all these deep woods, where they have a lot of snow especially, you'll see these long, low sloping, sweeping roofs that have nice big overhangs to cover the sides, because they didn't have Sherwin-Williams paint back then to paint their logs. And, of course, you wouldn't want to do that. Why am I getting advertisements? But the efficiency of this was that you kept the roof low as long as you could, because you're heating this with a fireplace, and the least amount of volume of air to be heated in that, or space to be heated, was the efficiency you were shooting for. Because these old cabins were usually just typically one room. You'd have your bed or living area in the first half. You'd have the kitchen, and it was usually by the fireplace. You cooked over the fire, and so that was one of my inspirations. And of course, honestly, these log cabins now I've built. If you go to my Artisan Construction website, you'll see a bunch of pictures. Back in the old days. I mean, I've built my first cabin I built in 1985 or something for a lady who ended up running for mayor of Chattanooga. But anyway, now these log cabins, these logs are expensive, right? But what I want to try to do is design a home, a little cabin, conventionally frame it, and then come up with a cladding, siding scheme that just gives it some rustic appeal. But I love these old, low to the ground, these big, gigantic cabins, or especially A-frames, are probably the worst or the most inefficient design you can probably get. But these big, huge, open, lots of glass, you see, very inefficient, very energy inefficient, right? And a lot of these are just statements, right? Let's build a big ass cabin and with lots of glazing, and people will know we have money. I'm not into that. Okay, I'm 59 now, and I've learned a lot of lessons in life. I'd be happy with this little cabin. I love these rectangular logs. They're really cool. They're easy to build. I've built probably 10 of these kind of cabins, a little bit larger. This is actually, well, heck, let's just go there. Might as well just stop talking about it, and I think I can show you real quick. I got it under my 40-year celebration. This was about 3 or 4 years ago. Here it is right here. I don't know if you can see that. This was 1987. And I built this cabin. Barrett sent me a text. I thought he was going to tell me my audio was turned off. That would be my luck. He said Sawyer's watching. Hey Sawyer. Hey Sawyer, my buddy, my boy. And we're going to build a playground. We're going to build a tree house for you, Sawyer, me and Barrett and Alex. But there's my 1987 Mitsubishi pickup truck, which was brand new. That's how I can always figure out what year this is. And this was the first log home I built for that lady. And how did I get off on that tangent? So I've got a lot of inspiration, but I don't have a lot of money. So after buying this piece of property, I got to build a budget home, okay? So let's look at the plan. And of course, the aliens aren't going to be donating any cash. So, you know, I gotta work extra hard here. As a matter of fact, I'm making this video, and I worked this morning on drawings, and I'm working this afternoon on drawings, trying to catch up. Let's see. So I've got a view here for the floor plan. I know Barrett was wanting to see this, so good thing you're watching, Barrett. So basically, what it amounts to is, I can turn this on perspective mode. For some reason, some of the things I drew are not, I haven't turned the layers off yet. So the firewood's still showing up on the floor plan, which it's not supposed to be, but it's there. This was a little pantry coat cabinet me and Barrett are going to build. Barrett's like, what? You didn't tell me nothing about no. Where's the walls? Where are the walls? Let's turn on the walls for a second. Since I went ahead and jumped ahead with 3D stuff. So, and we'll get into this. I just wanted to show you, I haven't put this in a layer yet. That's why it's showing up. And of course, I'm leaving my wood stove on because I love this thing. I've had one of these things before when I was younger. And my grandmother used to have them. My granddad used to have these. And yes, there will be one in my little cabin. I built this little offset. I put this closet right here just so I'd have a little corner to put the stove. But basically what it'll amount to is a working kitchen. So this half of the kitchen will be sink, near the window. I gotta adjust all these measurements. And a 24-inch range, because I'm not going to be cooking that much, on the stove. I'll have my coffee maker, over here near me, and my beans and rice are easy to make. I'm making myself laugh because I'm a beans and rice addict, and so that's what I eat most of the time. And then just a regular apartment size refrigerator. But I mean, honestly, this kitchen is decent size, even though I'm going to be using these smaller appliances. And I'll just have a small table in the middle, for when Barrett and Alex and Sawyer come over and eat beans and rice with me. And then I can stop making myself chuckle. And I'll have a big bathroom. This is, I'll say big, it's 5'6" this way and about 9 feet this way. And I'll have a small room, bedroom right here. Again, efficiency, smaller space, easy to heat. The idea for this room is I'll have just like I don't know, it's not a king size bed, but like a queen mattress. But I'm going to build it's going to be a built-in bed. So there'll be a half wall right here, a desk right here, and underneath the bed will be drawers. And this wall type, this different hatch here is let's see, another part of the efficiency of this design is all of the walls in this part of the cabin will all be 8 feet. This wall is 8 foot tall. These are 8 feet. These are 8 feet. But because of the pitch of the roof, these others are going to be taller. So what you get is this opportunity for heat to be shared in these rooms. Now the shop, this is the shop back here. Now I have a alternative plan here for 2 bedrooms and a bathroom. You come through here, you turn left or right, but that's only, there's a long story behind this, but if the neighbors end up giving me a hard time about square footage requirements, I'll show them this plan. And I don't think so. I don't think there's really not any neighbors to worry about, but sometimes you got to worry about restrictions and all that on square footage and living area and all that. So this is the plan B, but it won't be built. It's just dash lines on the paper. As a matter of fact, I'm getting ready to turn it off right now. That's not it. Where's it? Alternative. Oh, there it is. Alternative. There we go. This is a shop, okay? Because this is the big shop door. Right here, this is 8x8. Big enough to get anything I'm going to build in the shop out. And then this is going to be kind of cool. This is going to be a covered deck. If I turn the roof back on, you'll see that. Let's turn on this to working view here, where I've got all the grade and everything. So the idea behind this, and I just really started all this. This is why it's just kind of schematic. There's no real detail to it yet. And the roof framing's turned off for some reason. I noticed my beam was missing. So what you'd be able to do is back up to this deck, which is almost like a dock, loading dock, but it's also the side door here to go in. So you'd, if it's snowing or raining, you pull in there, you can go up the little steps, go in there, turn off the roof again. And this would be like a mud room here with a countertop. And then I'm going to have a single, washer dryer all in one unit right there under the counter. So this will be a nice place to put, recharge batteries and stuff. No, I'm not going to put my rice and beans there. So that's small. I mean, it's 1,200 square feet though. I mean, it's not tiny. It's not like, this cabin here, this was probably 800, maybe 800 square feet not even that much. I'm going to say it's probably 700. So these old cabins were not that large. They weren't that big, but they were efficient. And this wall would be a full height wall, because I would not heat and cool this shop the same as I would the rest of the houses. And what I would do is I'm going to use this. I'll have a louver here that I can sort of let heat in and out. I'll have a barn door here, and this is where I'll kind of regulate here, because I actually like a colder shop. So in the winter, this will be nice. It'll just be like maybe 50 degrees in here, which will be nice to work. And Barrett can wear his coat if he doesn't like it. Let's see if I have any questions. No questions. So, I'm gonna, 59, I want to settle down. I want to build this little cabin in the woods, and I'm working on it. Probably going to close on this property in 30 to 45 days. And so I'm going to figure it out. And so I told you my inspiration for the roof, the overall design. You see, you got this long sloping roof. And it's kind of funny because the center of the ridge is based on this overall width. So this part of the house is kind of asymmetrical, which it kind of bothered me at first, but I'm getting used to it. And this house is more about function than it is. I'm not going to win any awards. I haven't yet in the 40 years I've been in this business. So I don't think I'm going to win. Yeah, I'm not. That's not a goal for this. For this cabin. This is one of those things that once it's built, it will look better. That, because when you're standing out here, you don't, when you're designing something, you get these perfect, or imperfect, you get the ugly views easy, right? You can quickly put yourself in a position to see the ugly views. But when you're in real life, and it's the scale, you're down here looking at it, it's a little more pleasing when you're living there. When I'm going to be living here, trust me, it's going to be nice. Okay. So anyway, the chucks. How long did it take me? 30 minutes to get around to putting the siding on. So what I was thinking about doing was this. Here, I love this corrugated siding, and I've used this before. One of these days, I'm going to pull out the drone footage from the last house that I built over in Dunlap, Tennessee, which is not too far from where I'm building, and was the actual thing that motivated me to find this property over there. Dunlap is in the valley, and I'm going to be up on the mountain. But anyway, I like this kind of look here where, and of course, when you click on a picture, you never get it. It's always something else. But, so I'll go back. But this this mix of the corrugated vertically, and then maybe on the front some wood, some hardy T111, something like that, something to change it up. And I don't really like it when you run it horizontally for some reason. I guess it's because I know that how this has been traditionally installed, and it kind of bugs me to run it horizontally. I don't know why. You know how things just are kind of get pet peevy with you. But I'm looking. Here's kind of a cool. Watch me click on it and it doesn't show up. Told you, you can't click on a picture on the internet and it actually show up. It's just it's a disease. But anyway, yeah. Enough of that. What I'm going to try to do is use Chuck's instant cladding, and this is really cool. Wall cladding. You just pick a type. I think I've already picked it. Is this corrugated vertical? I could have picked any of these styles. And then here, I forgot to select the. You got to select the face you want, and then you can click on these parameters here. And let's see. I don't want it very thick. Yeah, I'm going to use the shallow one, which is like I think you can get it in 1/2 inch thick. I don't want it to be real bulky looking. And I'm going to leave the width. What is this? That's the thickness. Okay, and we'll just run that. There we go. That's going to look cool. Now on the sides, I'm going to run it full height. And I don't know, I'm kind of tired of this. We've done this on a lot of houses where we've done this board, we'll put hardy 4x8 sheets up or 4x10, and then we'll put those batt strips over the joints, and it'll kind of burn out on it. So I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use this. And I may come up, if this gets to be too much, the thing about this is once you've kind of got your settings done, you can just click the face and run it like that. I think that's going to be fine. I think I'm going to like that. I really do. And it'll be maintenance free pretty much. Really, if I was efficient and I wasn't talking, well, I'll just settle that right now. I'll go to this view in the back. You grab I'll get rid of these battens. Anyway, I'm kind of tired of the battens. Well, the way we've been doing them. If I could afford real board and batten, I would do it. But again, this is going to be a budget job. And I am going to compare the cost. Run that. And see how easy that is? Now, if I think about it, if I had to, normally what I would do, I would make a panel. I would make a corrugated panel. These are real panels, okay? They're not like an image. This is real line work, okay? I would make a panel and I would have to cut it on the slopes and cut it around the beams and all that, around the windows. It would take me 2 days to put this on here, okay? But I just knocked that out just like that. As a matter of fact, that's going to make my video shorter, and that's something. I know you think, oh darn. But anyway, so on the front here, I'm going to do this thing. Did I lose my photograph? Where did it go? It was where they had vertical wood look above it, and this is just to break up the front. And I don't like this look where they put the wood above it. That doesn't. But this, something that would have a finish like this is kind of cool. This may be where I found this. There. Anyway, enough scrolling. Let's see what Chuck has in his. Let's select this face. And let's go see what Chuck put in here. Again, I want to thank Chuck for letting me have a renewed license, because this is very painful to have to do by hand. So let's see what we've got here that we can mimic what I want to do. It's going to be vertical. Yeah, reverse board batten. Good Lord, right there it is. That's exactly what I want. Now the lines are like, the thickness is not, I think the thickness is like, on the Hardy, it's like 3/8. So I'm gonna call it 1/2 inch. Width. Okay, that's thickness. That's width. This is board thickness. So that needs to be half of the other one. And really what it amounts to is that half thickness is more like 5/16. And spacing. Let's just see what that looks like. This is so easy. You can just run it. And yeah, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a T111 look. And you know who has it is it is it LP that has the, yeah, LP has the texture, this T111 looking, but it's engineered, it's the engineered product, so it's not crappy like the but these grooves are like on 8-inch centers, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, texture 8-inch on center. So what I would need to do is go back and undo this and then start the extension again, and then change. Look at my little, and this is hard to see even for me, and I'm sitting here. 1/2 inch, that's the thickness. Width, if I made that 1/2 inch, what would that do? Let's see what that would do. Okay, we're getting there. And I may just leave it like that, just so I don't have to spend a lot of time. I'm trying to figure out how that got to, that's a 1/2 inch, and then this is 11.5. Let's go back and see. Let's undo. I think I'm only going to try one more time just to give you an idea, and then I'll play around with this later to get it perfect. But that's the nice thing about this extension. Oh, down here, corner width. I thought I had found it, but where's the 11.5 coming to play? Siding, okay, width. Board thickness. Batten spacing. There it is, right there, 8. That's it. There we go. Let's see, that'll give you I think that'll look nice. If I can quit getting below the earth, golly. There we go. Yeah, I think that'll be simple, and that'll give just a little different look on the front. And I gotta fix the color, but I'm gonna stain these. Where'd my beams go? My beams keep turning themselves off. Yeah, they did it then. Let me save this date. So yeah, the idea is to have this big flying gable. You know what a flying gable is? The flying gable is where the ridge sticks out. You can see more than the bottom, the eave, the low eave part of it sticks out. So we call them flying gables. So the idea would be to have these timbers. I'll have to find out, if I buy 6 by 12 timber for this, I'll have to see how far they can cantilever. I had these brackets on them, but they were kind of ugly, so I took them off. They just made the front look too heavy. They made the whole thing look heavy. So I took those off. Let's see if we have any questions or comments. Oh, now we've got questions or comments. This message was held. Oh, I'm going to go ahead and let that be seen. All metal, no cell phone inside Faraday cage. No. I'm living. This house I'm living in right now has a metal roof on it, and I could get phone service fine. I think there's a little more to that. You at least need an office, don't you? Dad, oh yeah, I got it. I got an office, boy, right here. This is the thing about this is if you turn the roof off. Now remember, I'm a single guy. This part. This is what is that little line right there? This little line's been bugging me. I bet you that belongs. It says deck porch. What's that? Anyway, I'm gonna ignore. Last time I deleted something like that, it was connected to like a whole other system, and I deleted the whole thing. It was in a group, then I deleted the whole group. Anyway, this is a desk. Let's go to the floor plan for a second, and we will just raise up. We'll make it 3D. Well, not accurately, but we will bring this up. This will be 30 inches tall. Okay, there'll be an office chair here, and this will. I guess I could do this. I could come down 1.5. If I can get to where I can see the end of that. And that's all I'm just going to draw that for now. And then this will be cabinet height. This will be 36 inches tall. 36. I guess I need to bring my 2D stuff up. I get on my blue axis. Where's my blue? Come on, blue. You can do it. Gotta find a vertical. Oh, is it glued? Sometimes when you. Well, that's bizarre. Sometimes it'll glue itself to like a plane. And why is that doing that? It won't raise up. Where's the unglue? It's not an option. Let's try to bring it up one at a time. See, you get on these tangents. Okay, 36. For some reason, I couldn't raise them both up at the same time. That was bizarre. Now, oh, I bet it's the stove that's glued. That's what it is. Unglue. I don't know why it does that. Sometimes when you insert a block or a group, it will glue itself to that plane. And then this would be a counter height. This would be 36. See? So you see, it would be a working kitchen. If I turn on the walls now, what I do? Delete the walls? No. You see? And I'll go in and fix all the cabinets, at some point. This part, I can sit here, have my laptop and everything, my big monitor in the corner, and I can look outside. I can see the big Ford. Where'd the big Ford go? Thanks, somebody stole it. But then I can look out the front, look out in the woods. Why has it got wire in the glass? I chose the wrong windows. But then, just really efficient use of space, right? I'll have my refrigerator there. And wood stove here, pile of wood. This will be probably like a Murphy bed situation for somebody like Barrett and Sawyer or Alex want to come up and spend the night there. I'll probably have I'll have the big screen TV hanging from the roof. I don't know. I don't watch TV, so I don't have to worry about that. And it's just going to be awesome, And here we'll have this wall. I'm thinking about taking these windows out, but I want to have some kind of, I'd like to have them, but windows kind of mess up your shop a little bit. I got to figure out where the chop saw would go. I think chop saw would go right here in the middle, the miter saw, and then you'd have a bench all the way across. You could come in and lay, long 16-foot pieces here to cut them. And then right out in the middle would be I got this roll around table, shop like a build, where you build stuff. It's got casters on it and also set the table saw on it. That would be here, and over here you have material storage. And again, shelves along these walls for storage. Just a cool little shop. And some place to settle down. And then when I kick the bucket, this will all be Barrett and Alex's and Sawyer's, and something I can pass down to my sons and grandson and daughter, Allie. Don't forget her. Allie may end up living here. That would be funny. She's not gonna. She's afraid of UFOs. She may not want to live there. Do I have any other questions? We'll make it kind of 3D. What does that mean? So, is this the new artisan compound? Yep, that's gonna be it. Let me show you the picture. I was on Google Earth the other day, and I caught this UFO flying around. Look, this is from Google Earth. This picture. This is the property right here. This 4 acres right here. See, all woods on the Tennessee mountains, baby. Can't beat them. Best place in the world. But watch this. This is weird. When you rotate this photograph, look at that. Look at the shadow of the UFO. It starts acting funny. Look at that. That's something. So I don't know. They're going to be hovering over my 4 acres. It's going to be bad because there probably wouldn't have ever been a UFO ever come here. But when Artisan Tony comes, they'll be landing. Bigfoot's probably got a cabin over here somewhere, or back here. Let me go back to the working view, and let's go to. They stole the Ford truck. Oh yeah, I have a feeling that. Oh, there it is. That's funny. Let's see. If we go inside, does it disappear? Oh, it's hard. It's hard. It's harder than you think to get around in 3D space. Yeah. Okay. There it is. Yeah. So I can keep an eye on it. Bigfoot tries to steal my big Ford truck. I'll have to shoot him with my BB gun. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. I know it's not very pretty, but I'm going to make it functional and useful and very energy efficient. And it should be awesome. I'm going to document it being built. Of course, it's going to take me probably a year because I have 10 other houses to build for other people, and they're going to be saying, nope, can't build your house, you got to build mine. But that's what the camper's for. I'll be living there, and hopefully I can get the poop from the camper over to here where the septic tank's going to be. And like I said earlier, this is going to be my temporary power pole. And it should be awesome. Just have to figure out some anti-UFO defense there. Alright, do we have any other, have you planned a shooting range for the backyard? You know what, that's funny. I had so much trouble finding this property. I had to kind of, and literally looked at 30, 40. You can ask Barrett. He was with me on all these. We walked property all over Sequatchie County, because I wanted to live in Sequatchie County. I'm tired of Hamilton County. I want to move out of it. I'm tired of the politics. When you get my age, you're ready just to ditch the politics and all those dumb things that you used to think were important in life. But the main problem I kept running into was this septic tank issue up here on this mountain. These mountains, it's hard to find good soil that will perk, and secondly that doesn't have rocks all in it. Because the bad thing about it is when the environmentalist comes out and he's poking and prodding around, he could just find a big stone it could just be a stone right here where that 0 is, and if he hits it and he thinks that, and he applies that to this whole area, he's going to say, oh, you got to have a modified septic system, which is, $20,000-$30,000. And so we kept running into that on all these properties we were finding. And then the other problem I ran into was this area, this whole area now, because of the pandemic, people from, especially Yankees, carpetbaggers like Night Strike, I'm just kidding, are coming down here buying property. And it's raised the value of the property. So I was having a hard time finding, that budget property. This didn't turn out to be that much budget, especially. But what I did was I called in the UFOs. I had them hover there for a while, and it brought the price down. Hey, I'm originally from Arizona. I know, I'm just kidding. I knew you were out there, so that's why I said that. But yeah, I got the property value down. It didn't take long. I just had to, I gave Bigfoot a 50, and he hung out for a while. And I'm trying to get back to my working view. So I don't know, I'll figure this out. It always looks better in real life, since I don't do a lot of rendering per se, I'm just drawing geometry. Sometimes the drawings are not that attractive, and I get that. But I know how to make it, I know how to make it look good. I've built enough of these things where it'll be cool. And what's funny about this is that it may be flat enough to put this on a slab, which I may do, which would bring all this down, and I would get rid of this, probably easier just to bring the ground up if I can. If I end up, doing it on a slab, all this will just become the stone that I gather from the site, if I can find enough flat stones. And I'll have just a stone porch out here, and this would just become, probably still frame this up, because I want a nice flat deck to work off of when I bring stuff out of the shop. So I don't know. Barrett and I are going to go out Monday and check out the grades and shoot this UFO down and get ready for the septic tank inspector. We're going to stake out where the house is going, and he's going to approve our septic tank location. So, well, I hope that wasn't too boring. Let's see if I have any other questions. Do I have any other questions out there? But I guess I could mention some of the other issues you want to check into when you're looking for property. I'm going to do a whole video on this, but issues like, when you're buying a large parcel of land, setbacks aren't that big of an issue, but you might have some kind of easement on your property. When I first looked at the deed of this, I saw the word easement, and I thought this thing coming across here was like some kind of easement coming across the property, which is not very desirable. It turned out it was a water line easement out here at the front, which is no big deal because that didn't bother me at all. But this turned out to be an old logging road, and the issue there would have been just with compaction. Log trucks are like big compactors, right? So let's say you were going to build your house here, and your septic tank would have crossed this area. Well, I'm pretty sure that the septic tank inspector would have caught on to that because, the soil scientist actually would have been the one. You have soil scientists who do these soil maps. Like this is a soil map on top of a survey, and this is where he made his notes right here with the soil type and the absorption rates and all that. And the grade, the slopes. It's pretty flat in here. It rolls a little bit, but it's pretty flat. But this area right here was one type of soil, and this area, all this other area was this other. They call it, what's it called, Lily something? I forget what they've got these names for, like Ramsey, and they got some weird names for the soils. It's kind of funny. But you can see this is the one type, this is the other, and they're both pretty good. Right here you can see here your field line would be probably 30 inches, or it could be up to 30 inches. You got to be a minimum of 24 inches deep. But you can go up to 30 here, and then you can see here, this could go up to the maximum, excuse me, 48. 48 is the maximum depth you can go on a field line. So when you're looking for property, this is really the first issue, is getting this, checking to see if there's a soil map that has been recorded at the local courthouse, because what they do is the soil scientist, who's this guy, takes this, and he will either, depending on what county it is and what jurisdiction, he will either file it at with the health department, or sometimes it'll be filed, at the Register of Deeds office with the deed. And now, if this hasn't been done, and this is a big deal, and this is why it took me a year, because right now soil scientists are running 8 to 10 weeks out, okay, and they're also $500. So it took me, a year to find a piece of property where this soil map. Well, first of all, this is out in a rural area, right? It's out in the mountains, and to find this property that already had a soil map done on it was just luck. Well, I say luck. I searched for a year, so I guess I put in the time. That's what it takes. If you're going to buy a piece of property, I would allow anywhere from 6 to 8 months at a minimum. And so that septic tank issue is what you're going to work out first. Then you're going to look at, I'm not trying to put these in any kind of order, but this was the order I used. Any sort of easements or, issues where you might have Barrett, he's got a situation on his house where he has to share a driveway, which is something I would never do, but, he made the decision to do it, and they're happy and they're fine. But those are the kind of things you want to check. The other thing is here, this is a creek running across here, but it literally, the headwaters of this creek is literally right here. So it's a small creek, and there's probably a spring here somewhere feeding it, right? Because it's wet, it stays wet. And but you want to check for how the land lays, and does this flood? Well, thankfully this wouldn't, if there was a heavy rain, it would probably flood down. I'd followed this road out, and down in here is a low lying area, and it would probably flood up down in here, and it would take a while. It would be a heck of a flood to get back here. We're on top of a mountain to begin with, but it would be like flash flooding is what we're talking about, not something in a low lying area, but you'd have like flash flooding. So that was part of my decision on where to place the house. I'm going to have a nice camp back here, but I may dam this up, or I may not totally dam it up, but slow. Trying to capture some of it to make a small pond, but because I'm sure these people aren't going to want me to dam it up. I couldn't dam it up totally. I would have, have a spillover. But so anyway, I wanted the property to be, house to be back as far as I could get it, and then I split the difference between having enough room for the septic tank. And then, of course, for future, the very far out future, when this land is handed down to my sons, they may want to have a situation where they have like a flag lot if they want to divide this back part off or something, like that. So I kept the house over here, allowing this space to have future possibilities to have to divide the property into two or whatever they want to do with it. I'm just going to leave it to them, and I'm not going to worry about what they do with it. So anyway, should be fun to build. It will. I think it will look good. I mean, it's very simple. It's small. It's very efficient. I could heat and cool this thing with 2 mini splits. Maybe one. I might start out with one. You can buy a compressor that'll serve up to 3 heads, mini split heads. So I may start out with a compressor that'll serve that many, but I'll buy one head and put it in here and see if I can live with that. Because I know in the winter I'm going to be able to heat very easily. This wood stove would heat this whole thing. The part I want to heat, it would heat it. So the cooling's going to be the only issue. And we're on a mountain, trees all around, so shading should be good. That's the only thing. I've got this thing. If you look at north, where am I? Where's my north arrow? Here's my Artisan north arrow. So that's north. Okay. So I've got this. So you can put solar panels on this side here, and I haven't put the metal roof on. What you're seeing is the rafters showing through the decking. That's kind of funny, and it looks like a roofing. But this would be the side that you would have to put the solar panels on, which I do have plans for, because it would be kind of cool to be somewhat off the grid. Except that the funny part about this road is that there's a high-speed internet access on it. I'm not going to have to do the Starlink thing. So that's awesome. And there's also water out there. That's the other thing you want to check when you're buying property like this. If you're on these old county roads, some of them aren't going to have water on them. you're gonna have to dig a well somewhere. But see, I had a list. I had to have a decent property for septic tank. I wanted to already have a soil map. I wanted to be able to have county water. I wanted to have internet access because I still want to be able to make videos like this. So I have to transfer drawings to my customers over the internet, and some of these drawing packages get pretty large. It's just a whole list of things that you want to develop that list when you're looking for the property. But I have a whole outline for that video, and so stay tuned for that. Let me check. No. Well, if anybody has any other questions, I will answer them. But I may call it. What time is it? Yeah, I have to get back to work on some real jobs and that pays the bills and that don't have UFOs in them. They're boring. They're boring jobs. They don't have the aliens in them. I try to get the owners to agree to that, but they don't. They think I'm crazy, so they don't. They're not into living life the way I am. Anyway, I want to come up with something else to, I don't know. I don't know. I may just plaster this corrugated metal on the whole thing, but not the front. I want the front. I like this thing. I like this scheme because I can pile this wood all up against this metal siding, and I don't have to worry about paint issues or stain or whatever. Because I got this roof hanging out 6 feet here, and that's going to cover my wood pile. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you watching, and stay tuned. We will be building this thing in the coming months. Thank you.